the Cardinals had the third lowest offensive output of the season in yards in that game. But they were efficient. They didn't have any turnovers. But the key was they didn't fall behind because the Rams are so hard on offense. Well, the 49ers are a better offensive team. And, they got Christian McCaffrey. They got Elijah Mitchell, another running back who just came back from the injured list. They got Deebo Samuel, although he's been a little banged up. You got George Kittle. You got Brandon Ayuk. So I think the big key for this game for the Cardinals is going to be on defense. And, get some takeaways like they did last week, which was a difference, and not have any turnovers on offense. I think that's going to be the real key in this game against the 49ers in Mexico City.
Lest we forget that Colt McCoy did beat this 49ers team last year. Was it 31-17 there in San Francisco? This year, pretty much if Hollywood Brown can go, from the receiving core, running back core, quarterback question mark, it will be all hands on deck, except the offensive line, where it looks like Beachum may still be the only starter from the offensive line.
Yeah, and we don't know about DJ Humphries, but at least, Josh Jones does a credible job there. DJ did not practice today, and Marquise Brown was out there practicing, and he will not be listed on the injury report because he's not officially a part of the roster, but he looked to be running around pretty good. So that would be a big boost for the offense. And, the key with the whole, Benjamin thing is one concern I have that Cliff Kingsbury said he doesn't, but in the offseason he said it was important to find a good job share with James Conner. He played 96% of the snaps on Sunday. And when that has happened in the past, when he's played too many snaps, he gets injured. And there's not a whole lot behind him right now with Keontae Ingram. And then I'm sure they're going to bring up one or two guys from the practice squad and see how that running game goes. And who's going to be the quarterback? Is it going to be is Murray? Are they going to try to have Murray go? Is it going to be McCoy again? I don't know if we'll know that until game time on Monday night. Although my sense is it might be McCoy again, just to make sure that there's more days and more time for Kyler to come back from yet another injury. Because listen, he acknowledged yesterday in talking to the media that the original injury actually happened the week before the game against Seattle, against Minnesota, and then he tweaked it more against Seattle. So you just want to be sure that he's absolutely right when he comes back.
How egregious of a comment did Eno Benjamin make to whomever as the backup playing pretty solid football, make to whomever, wherever, to get cut? What's the story behind that, Howard?
Well, no one really knows. And obviously that's led to speculation. And then you have people, saying, "Oh my goodness, here's the Cardinals messing up again. Why would they do this?" Well, he had to have done something I would think pretty egregious for him to be cut. And if it's a private conversation with a coach, that's one thing.
Yeah,
it's a whole other thing from the way it's being reported is that it started on the sideline where he's confronting a coach, and then it fairly spilled over into the locker room after a victory. And so, the other thing we don't know is this the only time this happened, or has there been a little history with Eno? We don't know a lot of these things. The one thing we do know is on the Go PHNX podcast last night, a director of Hard Knocks, Terrell Riley, he said, "Hey, all I'll say is," when they asked about Eno, he said, "All I'll say is make sure you tune in next week, because that's going to be must-watch TV." And he said he was shocked by what was seen.
Wow.
So we'll see how much that the team is going to allow to be showed, because they do have veto aspect. I think sometimes it's good to show it, because then it justifies what the team did. So we'll have to wait till next Wednesday probably to really find out anything. And who knows if we'll even find it out then.
3. I want to pick your brain on this, because the 49ers went to Colorado and are training at 5,000 feet. Where
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, Colorado Springs, and are training at 5,000 feet, where the Cardinals just stayed home. It's 7,500 feet at Mexico City. If indeed the Cardinals get dusted in this game by the 49ers, are people going to come back and say, well, they should have gone to Flagstaff or they should have gone to Albuquerque or some high place where they could have got in a week of training just because of how high it is in Mexico City?
It could happen. And Cliff Kingsbury was asked about it. He said they considered, a lot of different options, and they just felt it was better to be here. They've been doing some certain training aspects with bikes and at altitude and things like that to get prepared for it. But if it becomes an issue, it could be one of those things where can you really tell what the issue is? If guys are getting false starts or the Cardinals, go back into the bad, a lot of the bad stuff that they did. A lot of times that's just player execution. Now, do they run out of gas in the fourth quarter? That's where I think, have a little bit of concern if it kind of wears on you, during the game. And so, but I'll say this. Yes, the 49ers can maybe be a little bit better acclimated to it, but they're not going full speed like a game. They're not practicing like a game. They're not playing tackle football, which obviously is going to be the case on Monday night. So I guess the question comes down to how much can that truly help when you get into an NFL game where you're playing, whatever it is, 120, 140 snaps on offense and defense. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens on Monday night.